Pete Sousa show. And again, I think it's like we really have lucked out having Cam Stewart in the fold here because no, I'm not lying. Locked on Big 12 is piping hot right now. And one of the reasons, Cam, let me know if I'm telling you this for the first time. Yeah. Cameron.
Yeah.
Pay attention. This is breaking news. Norchad Omier and Texas Tech JP Toppin were no. Norchad Omier was named the player of the week, Big 12. There you go. Big 12 player of the week. That guy.
Does that wipe out the game against Tennessee?
Probably, yeah. And the guy, JT Toppin, was the newcomer. All right, let's go back. Yeah, not bad when you have November 11th, Hunter Dickinson, November 18th, Hunter Dickinson, November 25th, Norchad Omier. That's pretty good company.
Best big man in the Big 12. Finally, award.
Oh, there you go.
It's these kind of takes, folks.
Cameron, Baylor's huge victory. What do you think is on the line going into this game against Kansas? Like, what is on the line?
All of it. All of it, Pete. They can go to the Big 12 championship game.
So you still believe there's a realistic path?
Yeah. Because anything can happen in this league, man. Like, I know that's a cliche, but you just spent all that time talking about it.
Yeah.
So they need to win.
Was that a good first segment?
Yeah, Pete. What do you want?
Come on,
Instant validation? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious. You know, you're a Big 12 guy.
So they need to win. They need to beat Kansas, which is really no gimme. Like,
yeah.
In fact, I wouldn't have been stunned if they were dogs going into this, but they're not. They're favorites as it opens on Monday.
Point and a half.
They need to beat Kansas, and they need 3 of the 4 6-2 teams to lose. So those teams would be BYU, Colorado, Arizona State.
Colorado. There's no way Colorado loses to Oklahoma State. You realize that?
And you think there's a chance that Houston beats BYU?
I'm more on Houston beating BYU.
See, well then we can get there. Kansas State can beat Iowa State.
Oh yeah.
And Arizona's not nearly as good as Arizona State, but it's a rivalry game. Throw out the records. They've got a quarterback receiver combo that can light up anybody.
You know what I do like about Arizona?
It can happen.
Going into that game, I was reading some stuff yesterday about Tet McMillan. I appreciate, and Ollie Gordon gets lumped into this as well. I really do appreciate, and I guess we're so like soft now, or our expectations are so low of stars. But these guys are playing. They're finishing the season. And I don't know if it's NIL money connected to it. I have no idea. But they're playing every game as though it were their last, and I appreciate that.
Joey Galloway's not getting in their ear, I guess.
No, forget Joey Galloway. Tet McMillan.
I was so pissed. Like, I have nothing against Ohio State, but I just wanted to shove that back at the 4 letters so bad if Indiana won that game. But what are you going to do? Then I get reminded that Dan Dockich was rooting for Indiana, and I'm like, I don't feel as bad.
Makes you feel a little better?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it probably does make you feel a little better.
Yeah.
But those guys playing until the end of the year is fun. Tet McMillan, Brett Brennan was asked, hey, do you think Tet McMillan will play in that game against Arizona State? And Brett Brennan, which is like, you can tell the guy's got a stranglehold on the locker room. He was like, you'd have to ask him.
Nice.
And then they asked Tet, and he was like, of course. Like, what are you kidding me? Which I love. And then Ollie Gordon, oh, by the way, had 160 yards rushing last week, which is like the most.
Man.
So that is, by the way, playing against Baylor fans and Cam Nation, playing against a Colorado team who was completely eviscerated by Devin Neal. Maybe it's the Ollie Gordon show, and look, maybe there's something to that. Maybe. You know, it's a 17-point spread though. Colorado's a favorite.
BYU had Oklahoma State till the very end of that game last year, where
on the
BYU
road.
was 5-6 at that point, and it was in Stillwater, and Oklahoma State win, and you're in Big 12 championship. So I don't know. I would say crazier things have happened. I don't know that crazier things have happened, but crazy things have happened.
What are your thoughts
this year? I mean, BYU was a shoo-in 2 weeks ago for a home playoff game.
What are your thoughts around
they lost to Kansas,
the Big 12 not getting a team in the playoff?
Like what I think of it, or whether it will happen?
Both. I want what you think of it first.
This might be controversial because of the landscape of college football. I don't care if they don't get a team in. I'd prefer to have a team in because I do think it's good for the conference, but I'm not going to be like these A&M people who can't win shit and they're just like SEC. Oh, but look what the SEC's doing.
No.
Like I've never understood that, and I'm never gonna be that.
I forget Baylor as a college football fan. You're looking back at this. I clearly think this conference is head and shoulders above some of the others.
Yes, I think I think a team like BYU deserves a spot. I think I can make an argument Colorado deserves a spot, but right now Arizona State is the one that deserves the spot.
I will tell you this.
I would say there are playoff teams in this conference, and it would be a shame if they don't get to go. How about that?
I'll tell you this.
I'm not going to get bummed out like the way I think like some Mississippi State fan will be like, well, Georgia should get in at 9-3. Like that, that's bullshit.
I'll tell you this too, and some of the folks that listen to this are BYU people. It's been brought to my attention, but I would much rather see Colorado and Arizona State get in than BYU because I think they will put up a much more entertaining showing.
It's the ESPN argument.
Well, I mean,
which is fine, but in this case, because
it's a good argument.
Matched, it's not like you're arguing.
BYU has sucked the past 2 weeks.
11-1. Yep,
they have, and Jake Retzloff has proven to be a quarterback who has he's pushed up against his limit of what he can do. He's had 2 opportunities, where he could have driven his team to like magical victories at the end, and he's thrown 2 picks.
Yeah,
well, one of them he threw out of the end zone.
You know what?
One wasn't a pick.
You know what? I honestly like. There's still that chaos, but if Baylor does not make the Big 12 championship, I think the Big 12 should be allowed to just invite Kansas. You know what I mean? I think if we're going off that logic of like the
NCAA tournament, like we just
thing,
played our postseason tournament and Kansas won the championship.
Yeah.
Right? Like a conference tournament.
It is almost like the playoff committee last year being like, well, Florida State can't win without their quarterback. It's like, Kansas State or Kansas really is the best team playing right now. Like we should just put them in. Like they have just as good a chance to beat Colorado or BYU or Arizona State as anybody in this conference. And for 2 of those teams, they just did. They just beat them. Like Kansas is legit, man. I'm worried to play them on Saturday.
So take me back inside too. Scotty and I touched on this, but you can probably give us a better, exact, detailed answer. What changed on Baylor's offensive line? That has
like
changed
this year?
This? Yeah.
Oh, jeez. You got to get a better mind than me.
Like, were there things though? Did they make personnel changes during the year?
I was going to say one thing that I think has really helped them that I've noticed from a fan's perspective is they actually have depth. Because we talked Sidney Fugar.
Yeah.
You talked with him on GXG.
Yeah. Waldorf, Maryland.
I mean, huge guy.
Yeah.
Just a monster out there. And he's not even playing every down. Like the fact that they can sub those guys in, they attack that position or that position group big time in the transfer portal, but they did it after spring ball. So like there's only so much that those guys can really get into fall camp and continuity. I think offensive line is like the only time you really need
brand new offensive line coach too, Mason Miller.
Yeah. And chemistry, like I think chemistry gets a little overblown, but you do need it on an offensive line. And I think it really was just something that needed some time. And I thought I've heard some Baylor fans dissing them this week against Houston. I thought they played pretty well again. And they've been getting a hell of a push, man.
Cam just used the word diss.
You like that? Let's bust it out from the archives.
Were you talking to the Bulldozer this morning? Did he say that?
I was talking to the Bulldozer this morning. The Bulldozer's been on a heater.
What is he saying? The Bulldozer is Cam's dad. What's his latest?
He was big on the Kansas idea, going to the Big 12 championship, just being invited. He was big on that. He was talking about the Patriots defense yesterday, which got lit up by Tua and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And I gotta this might
pull it up because I was trying to open it up on the airplane and I couldn't open it up.
But I need this. Oh, I sent it to you.
But I couldn't read it, okay. so pull it up.
This Miami offense is reminding me of the prospective boyfriend, and there's something about Mary abusing the mentally disabled kids as he pushes them down on his way to a touchdown. That's what he said about the Patriots defense. He also
Matt Dillon's character.
He texted me this morning. Does Daniel Jones understand that as a free agent, he's now competing with Colin Kaepernick for a job? That's great, man. Because he loves the idea that like Kaepernick still hasn't retired. He'll like text me that. He used to do it with Barry Bonds forever. He's like, is Bonds even retired? I don't know. Like he loves pulling that stuff.
What do you think about the Daniel Jones situation?
I was a little surprised, but clearly like surprised because of the money thing of it and what they still owe him.
2 years ago, they won a playoff game on the road.
That's crazy, man.
It's the way that stuff changes so quickly in our lives and in the NFL especially. It's like what's going on? Like and if you watch, by the way, like just you could watch that one episode of Hard Knocks with the Giants, like Joe Shane. Like I can't believe that guy still has a job right now. Unfortunately for him, I don't mean to go like all Drake Toll and rage bait all the Giant fans out there.
I got another great Bill thing after this.
but think about that. I mean, Joe Shane was like, no, we're going to let go of Saquon. And he's talking to the owner and he's like, you know, if you guys haven't seen Hard Knock Giants, you can call up the episode where he's talking to John Mara. And he's like, we need to get more guys to protect Daniel Jones. And Mara's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, and you're like, and when that's what you have to be definitive. Yeah. And that's what happens.
Night last night.
Yeah, he sure did.
So this is a great potential Bill story. I don't even know if this happened, but I'm pretty sure that it did. So I was FaceTiming one of my friends from high school last night. And he lives in Rockland, so I get my Rockland gossip from him. And he was talking about chicken fry.
Yes,
and Zach
Brandon
Bryan.
Chicken Fry.
And apparently a couple months ago, like their cat got out, like was at the parents' house and got out. And he was telling me, my friend was telling me that one of his mom's friends who lives on the other side of the development, like Zach Bryan came up to their door and like knocked on their door and said like, hey, have you seen this cat? Like showed a picture and everything. And like, here's how you can reach us if you need to. And I'm like, he went to that house? Like my parents' house is way closer than that. They definitely came to my dad's house. And I guarantee you he came up like middle of the day, Bill working from home, taking his headset off, going down and like had no idea who it was. Just no.
Did you ask your dad?
No, I haven't yet. I just learned this last night.
You've got to ask him.
Like Zach Bryan, I wouldn't say an A-list, but a pretty big.
Oh, he's pretty much A-list, but also,
but not someone that a middle-aged person would know.
No, dude, you can walk by Zach Bryan at Walmart and be like, yeah, whatever.
But sometimes you get the vibe that like maybe this person's famous. You know what I mean? Totally. By what they wear and the car they're driving up in, probably. And I just had this thought. It was going through my head all night that Bill had no idea who that was. And like a month later, he walks the dog and he runs into one of my other friend's parents and they start telling him about it. He's like, I had no idea he was a country star. He was just looking for a cat. He was just looking for a cat. He would do this exact and thing. So I got to text my siblings about it today and then ask him because I don't want it to be sullied yet if that didn't happen. But I have a really strong
last question.
Yeah.
Chicken Fry and Zach Bryan, they moved a little fast. Like they had like a whole house together and stuff.
I think that's right. I actually don't know that for sure.
But I think they did. She talks about
it. Like I know they were looking at a house. Okay, they did already have.
I think they got a house together
in like Duxbury, which is
yeah. Town. So he bought a house for her, I think, for them to stay. That's kind of fast.
That is, yeah.
Right.
It's a little over a year, I think. Yeah, those celebrity things, though.
Yeah.
Celebrity relationships, man, they take off. Ask Kim.
All right. Well, Cam, you can catch him today, ESPN 1660 with the main man, Matt Mosley, ESPN Central Texas. And you can also hear him on the Cam Show. And I don't know if they like here at the Rogue Media that I plugged you're locked on, but hey, it's a big deal.
It's big time.
Locked on Baylor. Cam Stewart, thank you so much, brother.
You're welcome.